Welcome into another edition of Kickin' It. I'm Jeff Woody. I'm here with Grant Mahoney, and we are, as always, brought to you by Kelderman Manufacturing. Kelderman.com. I just got myself a new truck. I might have to, hey, Jeff Kelderman, hit me up. We got some stuff that I'm going to need to get installed on this new thing, because it's, if I'm going to get new stuff, it's going to be from Kelderman.com for my pickup. But
speaking of new stuff, too, Pimp My Ride is back.
What?
Yeah, it's called like Restoration Rides or something.
Can we pimp Jeff's ride?
That's what I was getting at, is that if you want Kelderman Manufacturing to pimp your ride, I think they probably could. So.
I want an aquarium in the back. I want the whole bed.
Put a hot tub in your truck bed.
That's what it is. Okay, so it's a pickup, and I want the entire bed to be a functioning hot tub. That's what I want. Just so then you can just be cruising around whatever, Ankeny, Des Moines, Ames. I mean, could you imagine if there was a better tailgating vehicle than if you had an actual hot tub in your pickup truck?
Maybe not a hot tub for like the September games, but
I like the
like
November, December games.
November,
oh boy,
yeah.
Like an
playoff
October night game. Oh
yeah.
Boy, if you had an October night game and you had a hot tub,
that'd be great.
That's good.
It's not Exhibit though. Exhibit is no longer doing it, but I think he may be available to do it to yours.
Do you think they have like a graveyard of Pimp My Ride, like previous Pimp My Ride cards, like the one that they ones that they just did all this stuff to, and then it like got sold at auction?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if those things stopped working after like 3 months.
But it looks cool.
Yeah.
Totally separate from Pimp My Ride. We 2 weeks ago, we said no wall is safe when we had Coach Rhodes on. And then last week we had Coach McCarney on. We said there's no wall is safe, and that's even more true. And I feel like walls are slightly safer, but like
your
heartstrings are gone. This one. So we got David Montgomery on here. And for those that at least to my knowledge, he's not a big interview guy. There was doing research kind of ahead of time just to prep a little bit of this. And there wasn't a lot that he had done as far as actually like sitting down and talking with people. So
unless Chuck Bruce is in the house, then he will.
Which we get into that. Yes. But he doesn't talk a bunch, but man, the dude is absolutely wise beyond his years. And this might have the explicit tag on it. I don't know. It's a very soft explicit tag if it is. But this is one, if you have a young athlete anywhere of any age, really like 10 on up. So not any age, but you're like 10 on up and they're trying to get good at something. There's a lot of wisdom dispensed by this Detroit Lions, former Chicago Bears running back, David Montgomery. And man, it was an absolute pleasure to have him on.
Yeah, it was really good. Really good to have him on. You don't know this, Jeff, but when this episode comes out, it will be my birthday. So glad that this is coming out on my birthday because David is my favorite NFL guy.
Happy birthday, Grant.
Thanks.
Happy birthday in advance.
Thank you, Aiden.
No, it's today.
It's today?
Yeah.
What? It's
July 9th.
We're recording
July 9th.
it as this is live.
July 9th.
This is live. Producer is telling me that it's July 9th. So magic of radio, everybody.
Just making it about myself for a second, but no, but for real, David's like I only got one NFL jersey, and it's David Montgomery's from his rookie year, his Bears. So obviously it's outdated, but that's the only NFL jersey I've got. So I'm you can tell by the interview, but I'm a huge fan of David. Just on and off the field, he is just an incredible human being.
So without any further kind of preamble, let's get it. David Montgomery. All right, now we're gonna bring on somebody I got a bone to pick with. I showed up to Iowa State. And I knew that I was always going to be the second best 32 in Iowa State history because Fred Hoiberg was there. And I wore 32, did my best. And all of a sudden, this guy comes along, becomes an All-American. He's all Big 12. He becomes this NFL player. Welcome on, Dave Montgomery. I am honored to be not near the top of the 32 list. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. Been a long day, but I'm happy to be on.
All right, cool. First thing I want to ask. So interestingly, when we talk to a lot of other guys, and we've had people like Charlie on and people, Orion Vance lives kind of in the area. And one of the things that a lot of those guys talk to, so Coach Campbell gets there in 2016. You're a freshman in 2016. You were one of the guys, and not necessarily one of the guys, the guy that a lot of people point to that talked about you kind of showed what work ethic was, despite the fact that Iowa State was not very good prior to you actually getting there. Where does that come from? That drive to say, like, you know what, it's 2 a.m. I got to get film in, or it's 7 p.m. I got to go get a lift in. Where does that come from? Because I think the culture that exists at Iowa State now is in large part due to your work ethic. Where does that come from to be able to build something like that from nothing?
So ultimately, I didn't really have many opportunities coming out of high school. I only had one full ride scholarship, which was to Iowa State. So I already felt like I had the odds and the cards stacked against me. And I promised myself when I got out of high school, like I knew what I was capable of. And every opportunity that I had to be the best version of myself, I would take and I would create opportunities for myself. So if I had to do anything to try to improve who I was and how I performed, I was willing to sacrifice anything at any cost to be able to reach my full potential. So, people like to bring up like me going like at 7 o'clock. I didn't do that to like look good for nobody. Like
Yeah.
I really did that as an escape from the reality of me being away from home and being homesick. I did it because um I wanted to be the best. Like for me, I didn't want to be like nobody else. And after a while, bro, it really became contagious. And guys willingly just wanted to start to come in there with me. So it actually made me go a little harder because I'm like, all right, I'm setting the standard for myself. Everybody else kind of want to do the same thing. So I can't quit now. Like I got to just keep going. So I kind of you know, just wanted to be the best version of myself, really.
Man, I think Coach Campbell, I feel like just oozes through that sentence, man. Being the best version of yourself.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
and it's for me, David. It's crazy because like your high school film was pretty impressive. So like I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's legit. I don't know where that. I mean, I don't know why you didn't get any more.
Yeah. So
I don't
I
know.
want to ask you how did, if you can recall, how did Coach Campbell and them, like how'd they find you?
Yeah. So Coach Campbell knew about me before he got to Iowa State. When I was a junior, going into my senior year, I went to a Toledo camp. Um, it was a satellite camp at Coleraine High School, and I didn't have an offer from anywhere. And I performed. I had a really good camp. And like if you have a really good camp, or you like one of the highlighted players at your vision at the camp, at the end of the camp, they'll do like a 1v1 against each position. And it was me versus another linebacker that they already had offered. And I cooked him. I ran a wheel route, cooked him. Like he going to the sideline and I'm up the sideline and I catch the ball on the rail. And so I'm like, oh, this guaranteed gonna give me an offer. Like the guy who I cooked, who got the offer, he talked to Coach Campbell before, and he was just kind of like, just talking to him like, hey, like we still happy to like have an offer for you. So I knew I was getting an offer. If I cooked him and this is who they wanted, I'm like, this is definitely gonna guarantee me an offer. I go into the office and Coach Campbell was like, he was like, I want to let you know you had a real good camp. We don't have any more scholarships left, and we have our full class of running backs. We're already full, and I'm like, all right.
Okay,
So
come.
like, Coach Campbell, but he was like, I just want to let you know, I believe and I feel like something gonna happen that we gonna see each other again, like we gonna meet again. So just keep going.
Hmm.
Maybe like a little bit after that, he got the job at Iowa State.
Mhm.
And Coach Louis Ianni, that's like my dad. Like that was like my pops in college. Coach Campbell and the Coach Gasser. It was Coach Brian Gasser and Coach Louis Ianni. Coach Gasser was the one who was really, really pulling for me to get to Iowa State. Really, really trying to get me there. And he showed Coach Lou my tape, and Coach Lou was like, "Oh, this kid must have like Michigan, Ohio State. Like we must not be able to. We probably won't be able to get him." And Coach Gasser was like, Lou, like he don't have no offers. And Coach Lou was like what the hell we doing? Like why are we still here? So the next day, he got on a plane, he flew to my school, shook my hand. He was like, I need you to come to Iowa State.
All right.
And that next day, Coach Campbell flew out and Coach Gasser. I'm like, all right. And once Coach Lou told me, by the time Coach Lou can tell me he had an offer for me, like by the time he got it out of his mouth, I was already in my mind, like I'm gonna commit.
All right.
So I ended up committing and it worked. It worked out.
Yeah, that's wild.
I think it did. We had a Campbell story, and now your current coach. Can you compare the Campbells? Because it feels like from the outside in that both of them have the same kind of like ethos. Like their backbone is character, hard work, and they don't really care who you are, where you're from. You're a part of it. But it seems like they go about it in very different ways. Where Matt Campbell feels like he is Mr. like buttoned up all the time, and Dan Campbell has like a whole can of Grizzly in his lip at any one given time. But like how are those two? Can you compare the Campbells that you've had the pleasure of dealing with?
So in a weird way, they similar but different. Like very, very. They have similarities, but they on two different spectrums of the world. Um, Matt Campbell, like real interpersonal with like each of his players. Like he want to be like he want to know what's cooking in your life, like what's going on, like, and he wants you balls to the wall. Coach Dan Campbell, he cares, but he more of work hard, play hard, and pay off. Like, you know what I'm saying? He more like it's business. Like we out here to do something big, and you know what I'm saying? And the people who are doing it, you earn the right to be able to say that you can do it. Like, so they different in a way, but they all like they both have like that grit and want the same goal, like in mentality to win and be the best versions of ourselves. Like, so in a way, I just say they both similar, but they different at the same time. But I love them both.
And no disrespect to the Bears. Obviously played for the Bears for 4 years and went to the Lions. And I feel like the Lions is just the perfect situation for you because of what you said about, Coach Dan Campbell and, just you work hard because that's kind of just your MO. I know a big thing about you too, Dave, is you really give back. When they had that tornado in central Iowa when you were in school, the team went and Chuck Bruce was born.
Yeah, that's when I got a new name. I didn't know about that.
Well, I wanted to ask you too, if does Chuck Bruce, like how long did that follow you?
They still haunts me to this day.
Haunts you?
Yeah, it haunts me for sure. Cause I don't even know who Chuck Bruce is. I mean, but to know that I would hear Chuck Bruce and I would answer to it is where the problem lied. Because like I was honoring the name. Like I was abiding by the name and understanding that that's who I was. So in a way, it was like a doppelganger or my alter ego.
That's
I
funny.
embraced it. I embraced it. It's fine.
I think they showed who the actual Chuck Bruce was like a few weeks later, and just an old white guy in the community. I'm not sure who it was.
I missed that one.
Yeah, which obviously is not you. But kind of further onto that, you've always been big about giving back and giving back to your community. And I feel like you've really taken pride in that as well too. Where do you think that comes from?
Oh, I think it just come from me not having nothing when I was a kid. When I was that kid when I was young, um, I seen all these big time players, all these big time guys who would tell their story and saying like where they was from and how hard it was, but I never really seen them. Like it just was a TV kind of thing. So I made a promise to myself that I wanted to be like close to the people that are similar to me so that they felt like they had a chance because I was exactly where they were, you know?
Yeah.
And I also am a believer of like transferable energy. Like I want to transfer like how I feel and how I see the world and how I work to somebody else who don't believe in themselves. And the only way that anybody else can believe that that's true is if you show them on an interpersonal level. So I just always want, I know where I'm from and how crazy it is and how, hard it is back where I'm from to get those kids like an opportunity to have a choice. Because right now where I'm at and where I'm from, like those kids don't believe in themselves or they don't have the belief to think that they even have a choice. I just want to grant them that opportunity to know that they do.
For sure.
Yeah, it is really interesting that I'm just talking about like the Iowa State connection and the Lions connection, and it feels like kind of at the same time, and just bringing back that kind of community part. It's hard to imagine. It feels like the Chiefs and maybe like the Patriots have like in the past 10 or 15 years embodied the city in a way that the Lions have now. How do you, I mean, does Detroit feel to you similar to Cincinnati, Ames, that kind of like connection with the athletics and the team of it, plus the actual city? I mean, because I'm a football agnostic. When I grew up a Broncos fan, and then I had a bunch of teammates play in the league, and I'm like, well, I'm rooting for him, and then I'm rooting for that guy, and then I'm rooting for him, and I stopped having like a team. Well, then now there's a bunch of Iowa State guys, and so when you're watching it through a non-biased lens, it is impossible not to root for the Lions because of that tie with the community. Have you felt that same kind of ability to give back into Detroit the same way that you have with Cincinnati?
Yeah, definitely. I think Cincinnati and Detroit are like very, very similar in a lot of ways. Like they're both like blue collar places. Like it's not really large on the spectrum of the world. Like don't nobody want to go to Cincinnati to visit. You know what I'm saying? And Detroit got a lot of beautiful places in Detroit. It's a beautiful place. And you won't know until you go. But like it's not a lot of people who just like, I want to get up and go visit Detroit. They should, because there's a lot of stuff to see in Detroit. But um I don't think those places get enough credit until you really go. And like I said, like the blue collar mentality, like it gives you like that feeling that the city and the people are behind you because they've always been the ones who hadn't been good enough, or they always been the one who stayed committed to, something that hadn't always been good or the greatest. But after a while, when you start, like for instance, going to Detroit, performing at a high level, like you really see like the support from the city, and it give you like that extra juice and that gas to be like, I gotta go harder because these people going hard for me, what I'm saying, day in, day out at their jobs, and they being loyal fans, and just being able to have that, kind of energy from them. Like you feel like it's your right to give them back that, like to give them that energy, to give everything you got so that they can have an opportunity to feel what they haven't felt in so long.
Yeah.
So
Oh, go ahead.
now go ahead.
So the question was that you're talking about the energy of the fans. Can you take me back to the Lions Rams playoff game? Because talk about energy. Like that to me had my TV was buzzing with the amount of energy that, like, did that feel like a rivalry game, like an Iowa State style rivalry game, or did it have like a different gear to it? Because that to me, that was to the heart of a football game.
Yeah, so for me, it was so crazy. Like I can't even recall. Like I was so locked in and so like in the game that I didn't really hear much. Like I was so like it was such a laser focus for me that game to where like I didn't even realize I wasn't really in the moment. I was just like locked in on my job and my tasks and being sure like we got to get this win. Like we got to get this win. And I didn't really like repress or like really be in that moment till after the game was over. So like I hear a lot of stuff like people saying like it's the loudest like the stadium's ever been. Like to be honest, I didn't even hear none of that just because like what I was trying to accomplish on my end of the job. Like I was trying to handle my business to make sure that we can secure this dub so we can go to the next round kind of thing. So um I know like going out and seeing every like seat filled up and seeing like how the fans came and like in mass numbers, like just seeing that, like it was one of those one feelings like I had a different kind of energy that game. So it was super cool.
Because Detroit you guys hadn't won a playoff game in
92, right?
yeah, like a long time. Was it Dave? Was it you? Was it one of your teammates that you guys were pumping your gas and and a lady came up to you and said like how?
Oh, that was me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that was crazy. She started crying. I'm like,
really?
So what was the scene for the listeners that don't know the background of it? Can you kind of like set the scene of what was going on?
yeah, so I was at a gas station pumping my gas, and this lady came up to me, and she just was confirming I was who I was. I'm like, yeah, that's me. She just gave me a hug, and she was like, I just want to thank you for like all you've done. And she just started crying. I'm like, what's? And she was like, just being a Detroit Lions fan for so long, and not having a bunch of success, and having you guys kind of embrace, everybody kind of pointing the finger at you saying you're not good enough, and you guys going to work and handling business and kind of trying to bring this thing back. It was one of them one moments like, dang, this stuff really mean a lot to these people. Like it really make you realize like this city like deserves more than what they actually get. So it make you want to work harder for them in a way.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of you've mentioned before, and and thinking about that lady come up to you at the gas station, that's got to just kind of move you that much more.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was thinking that it reminds me, just in that same TV broadcast, there's a video of it just at the end of the game. The game's secured. I think y'all are like taking a knee, game's over, and they pan to the crowd and some dude is crying. And like, he's maybe like 35, 40-year-old dude is just bawling. And they show it in the next game. I think it was the 49ers game when you guys played right after that. Or no, it's Buccaneers. You played the Bucks
Yeah,
afterwards.
we played the Bucks. Rams, Bucks, 49ers.
Yeah, so it's a previews to the Bucks game, and they showed that guy, and you're thinking like, oh man, this is just some drunk dude that got real excited at the game, and he's saying that no, his dad had season tickets from the time he was in the 70s or 80s, and had never seen a win because he had missed the one game or whatever, and so his dad passed away like last year, and so that game and just that connection, dude was bawling not because of y'all winning, it was just that he felt connected to his dad through the team, and so like. Not to bring it back to Ames in the same way, but like Iowa State is now what they are because of guys caring like you did. So, I mean, is there anything that like your feelings towards Ames? Is there anything that sticks out about your time at Ames that like people might not know about because they know about the late night workouts, the film sessions, the wins, the Oklahoma game, stuff like that? But is there anything outside of the things that people might know that you remember that kind of, hits the bulletin board of your brain a little bit louder than the rest about being in Ames?
Yeah, so it's crazy like that you asked that question, but like in a way, I've been blessed to have experiences in my life that are like they all do the same thing, but they just at different levels, right?
Mhm.
Like I had an experience in high school that kind of gave me like confirmation, like you're doing the right thing. Then when I got to Ames, I had like an experience that kind of gave me that confirmation. You know, when I was in Ames, I had the opportunity and blessing to meet with to be able to make a friend. His name was Hunter Herb, and he had let's just say he just had some physical problems going on, and like his life could change at an instant of time. Like his immune system just not as strong as ours. Like he can get sick, and it can be like way more detrimental than anybody else. And I had an opportunity to help him score a touchdown. Like it's Campbell's thing. Like let's get it. Like let's bring in a kid and let's make their day and some of their lives to score with the Iowa State Cyclones. And I'm like, cool. And while you in it, it's just an experience. It's like, yeah, let's score. But after it happened, there was just like a gravitational pull to me to say like, it's my job and like my purpose in this moment to like gain a relationship with this young boy. And I did, and like the experiences that I had with Hunter and his family, and him feeling like I was a superhero to him, that gave me life, being able to have somebody look at me as a superhero and all I'm doing is playing a game. So I think being able to have that relationship with Hunter and have that experience it give me like a certain level of gratitude that people don't really understand about how those people are in Iowa or in Ames in general. Like Ames is a place of love and care, and no matter who you are, if you're doing the right thing and you working hard, you have that workers mentality, they gonna love you. And when you fall and your knees get all scraped up and you all they gonna help you get bandaged up. Like it's a group of people who care about you for who you are and not what you do, and the world that we live in, it's hard to find people like that.
Mhm.
Who only care about you for what you do and not who you are. But like Ames definitely gave me that comfort. Like we care about who you are. Like outside off of the field, outside of the field, I had so many people trying to help me do things outside of football that can help me in my life so that I can be a better human and a better man ultimately, that they didn't have to do. Like they just knew who I was, they knew my story, and they wanted to help me just be a better man. And those people don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And they did that out of their love for me. So, when I think about Ames and I think about being in a place like that, like I look at it like I'm so blessed to have the opportunity to, one, be in a place where people care about me, but two, being able to have an experience where people view me other than just a football player.
For sure. And I think I remember you talking about Hunter, the young man. I think, didn't you go to a few of his like birthday parties too?
Oh yeah, we hung out all the time.
Yeah, man. See, that's just like something that, you're a rare dude, David. And I mean that sincerely. That, you said that Hunter looked up to you, and for the fact that you could have just looked at him as like a score a touchdown, cool. But the fact that you went out of your way to go to his birthday parties and you saw you as a hero, I want you to know how special it is, how much I appreciate you for being who you are.
Oh yeah, man, I really appreciate that, man. I'm just trying to be a vessel of what God asked me to be, and however that looks, and however He pushes me or pulls me in the direction that I need to go, I'm gonna try to live that way.
Yeah.
You stay that way too, man. I love who you are, David.
And so it's funny is we're 21 minutes into actually recording this. We barely talked about football. So I think just because we do have a limited amount of time, I do want to get like a little bit of football. We asked Charlie the same thing, and he said he didn't have as much of it, and asked AJ the same thing, and he didn't have as much of it. Did you have like a welcome to the NFL moment where you realized like this thing ratcheted up, or did you feel like you came in going, I'm going to show what I'm worth. But did you have a welcome to the NFL moment, or when was the first time you realized that this is another step up, whether it's camp or games or whatever?
Man, I'll tell you this. My rookie year, I came in and I'm like, let's get it. Like, go do what you know you're capable of doing. And the first day of pads, like when you know you got on booties and you got like on spiders and you go not going through the motions, but like it's not real.
Right. I'm not going to get hit. I'm going to get like a little nudge, maybe. Yeah.
My first practice, when I strap my chin strap up and I'm in the backfield, my first like rep with the ones, and I look down and then I look up and I look at who across from me. And on my right side, I see Khalil Mack. On my left side, I see Akeem Hicks. The right corner, I see Kyle Fuller. I see Eddie Jackson. I see Roquan Smith in the middle. I see the Super Bowl winning Danny Trevathan. I see Buster Screen. I'm seeing all these guys who just won the NFC North the year before I went there. And I'm finna go against them. I'm finna go against these cats. Me being 21 years old, like, and these dudes finna come at me full force. That was my welcome to the NFL moment. Like, bro, you here now. Like, it's either you gonna sink or you gonna swim. Like, it's either you gonna compete with the best of them or you gonna fold like laundry. And I decided to make that decision for myself. Like, look, you here now. You worked immense hours and you took the time. You sacrifice friendships. You sacrifice relationships. You sacrifice being able to have fun for this mere moment right here. And how I view myself and the expectation that I had for myself and I had for myself was go show them what you got. And I ain't looked back ever since. So that was probably like my like all moment. Like I'm in the NFL and like one of them cases they had me like damn, like this shit real. Like this ain't just for play no more. Like this is real ready to go. So I took advantage of it, and after that practice was done, I was able to talk to Khalil, and he was just like, I see a lot in you, and I want you to be the best version of yourself. So just take advantage of every opportunity you get.
Yeah.
Man,
How were guys like Roquan and Khalil, I think, are the two guys that kind of stick out to me. Like, how much better did they make you? Because you look at Roquan Smith, and that dude he's like an ATV and you put a helmet on an ATV, and he is just absolutely the fastest, strongest, toughest dude. And then Khalil Mack has always been undersized, but is just smarter than everybody on the field.
he's a tank too.
Like, but how is it going against those two guys? How much better did you get just by being around Roquan Smith and Khalil Mack?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say Khalil's far from undersized. That's one thing.
What are you talking about, Jeff?
I mean, he's like 250 as a DN. I mean, it's just
he a little that's wrong with them papers.
My bad.
But being able to see like Roquan, like to be able to like play against him, I'm doing one-on-ones against him in practice, and like he destroying me, and I'm like what is this, bro? Like, and you take a step back, like this arguably the best linebacker in the league.
Yeah.
And like for me, it's like you need to raise yourself to the standard of what he is so that you can be what you're capable of being. And I came to fight every day. Like, we gonna work every day. You gonna get me sometimes, but you ain't gonna get me every time. You know what I'm saying? And he just made me a better person overall, like who he was, how he carried himself. Khalil, like, he the same way, but like his performance, he vocal, but he not super, super vocal. Like he allowed who he is and how he carry himself. Like, granted, like he make a ton of money and he got a lot of accolades, and the way that he worked, even at that point in his career, it made you realize like you're not working hard enough. Like never get content or complacent where you at, because you got somebody that's arguably gonna be a Hall of Famer coming to work, working hard every day. So like it put in perspective for you, like if you take a day off or you take a play off, like you cheating the whole opportunity that you have, because you got somebody across from you who gonna go to the Hall of Fame, is guaranteed to get into the Hall of Fame, and you want to take a day off. Nah. So you see guys like that, and it make you realize like you got a decision and a choice to make. And you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, when your career over and you take a look in the mirror, you got to live with whatever decision you decide to make, whether you want to work hard or you don't.
That's good, man. What kind of piggybacking off of that? You're going into your 6th year now in the NFL. What would you say is something that you know now, that's knowledge that you've gained or whatever it may be, going into your 6th year that you maybe didn't know going into the NFL in your rookie year?
Oh man, a lot of politics to be the politics, and you just work hard. Keep your mouth shut and produce. Just
All right.
produce.
Fair enough.
That's straightforward.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah, that's
business.
what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. I look at myself in my career, like I try not to be a compare or anything, but like if you look at my career, like or over the amount of time, people like to say like I'm here, or like tier here, like I'm not as good as these guys, I'm not that, but like you put the pen to the paper, like I'm right in the realm of those guys. So like, I look at that stuff like that. You allow the politics of the game and how people see you. If you allow that to control the outcome of what you see yourself for mentally, it can really affect you in a negative way. But if you look at it and if you work hard, you go to work every day and, not really worrying about what the outside world got to say, and you put on the horse blinders, like you'll be exactly where you're supposed to be. That's probably if I had to tell myself anything as a rookie, that'd be the one thing that I'd say, like being, unapologetically honest with myself. Like don't rely on the thoughts or the opinions of others, like rely on self first.
Man, if it just, I hope that if there's whether it's a kid listening or a parent that has a kid that's like playing sports, there's like 3 things that you said that like I just want to like pull back out just to kind of highlight. One is be unapologetically honest with yourself. Like I love that line, and one of the things that Ted Lasso quote is be curious, not judgmental, and like that to yourself of that same thing of like, am I good at this? If not, okay, let's get better at it. Am I good at this? Yes. All right. Then I can bank on this thing. The second thing is missing. If you have an opportunity and you don't go at it full force, not only are you missing that opportunity, you're letting everyone down because you have that opportunity and somebody else doesn't. And so recognizing that whatever opportunity you're in, and then the third thing is understanding that like it's a choice to come to work. It's a choice. You're there. I mean, you could put the helmet on, you could put the pads on, you can lace your basketball sneakers up, you can put your weightlifting grips on. Like you could do whatever you want, and you could be there. You could just show up. But it's a choice to actually participate, to go like absolute full go with it. I mean, if you're a kid or if you have a parent or if you're a coach, like those 3 things, I mean, dude's giving a lot of life lessons. So back to the football thing, how did you go in year 6 now? You looked at Khalil Mack and you looked at Roquan Smith, and you as the rookie looked up and said, that dude he's at this level. I need to make sure that I get myself at least around that level because I can't let him get me all the time. You're going to year 6. As far as the NFL is concerned, man, you're getting an AARP card pretty soon. So like you are experienced, you are established. How does it feel? Do you feel like that responsibility of being a veteran now, or do you still feel like you're kind of learning from everybody else?
I think I'm in the middle, right? Like I feel like I hadn't even reached the pinnacle of who I can be. Like I feel like I'm just getting better every year. So like with me getting better, it comes like with great responsibility, right? So like I see myself in a way of like with me not being exactly where I know I'm capable of being, I'm still learning from the guys who are there, but I'm also at a position where I have learned a lot and seen a lot and I've experienced a lot to where the guys that are coming in under me, if I don't do it right, I'll mislead them and it can affect who they are in their career in a negative way.
Yeah.
By what they see. And like, come on, like let's be honest, like this league is a league of production. So if I'm not doing my job and I'm not performing, my job is gone. I got a son.
Yeah.
Like, I can't live with myself if I don't put everything in my best foot forward, or I don't work 10 times harder as I did when I was a rookie, because I know like the line or the room for error is way smaller for me because I've been in it longer. So I look at it like I'm in the middle, like I'm still learning, but like with me still learning is the expectation for myself that's not that a coach holds for me or like anybody else holds for me, but I hold for myself so that when somebody else under me sees me, they see like, oh, this cat working hard. Like I gotta work hard too because of what I have on the line, but also understanding like what he sees that I have on the line also. Like understanding like that I'm looking at this position of where I'm at, and if I do it wrong, like I could really mess up my career. Like, and I'm not doing that. Like, I worked too hard to get to this point to allow me and my expectations to be lowered by what I think is enough. Like, I think the mistake that a lot of guys make coming in the league or getting like every year getting like older and older, like you get complacent or content with what you've done or where you at. And, you know, that complacency and that contentment allows like the younger guys or everybody else that's coming up to catch you.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, because you've been in the league for so long, like you think you got it figured out and you trying to find ways to cut corners, but like you cutting corners like you doing a disservice to yourself. So, not to ramble or get off of
No,
like
you're good, man.
the question that you asked, but I think like I'm in the middle, honestly, because I'm still learning, but in the same degree, like I had an expectation for myself that I gotta, you know, upstand for myself and, you know, who I'm trying to be, and also for what my son see. Like I want my son to be older and be proud that his dad played in the NFL for a long time. And like I want my son to be able to have arguments with other people like, well, my dad was this good and he can do that. And in order for me to even have that opportunity to do that, I gotta put everything I got into this.
Yeah. I also imagine that Jameer has to have something like it is a lot of times people would think, to me, if they drafted this young guy and you know, screw this. But I think if you look at it through the lens that you were talking about, having Jahmyr Gibbs there is one, dude's going to push you because he's good. You're good too. So if you let your guard down, if you don't work as hard as you're going to work, he's going to. So like, I feel like that there's someone to be pushed, but also someone to lead. And like, it feels like you got a cool dynamic with two guys that are complementary to each other, but also different stages of career. Like, I don't know if you view that kind of thing as like, it's a blessing to have him there as a push and a pull for you.
No question, no question. I think a lot of, you know, the people in the outside world, they want to do like comparison, like he should be this and I should be that. Like, but no, actuality, like, I don't think it works as well if we don't have each other, you know?
Mhm.
And like understanding that, like, a lot of times competition brings the best out of you.
Mhm.
Like, I look at Jahmyr, like he is an electric player, you know, and he gonna be a good player, a great player for a long time. But it's like you said, like shit, I know I'm damn good too. Like,
Yeah.
like it ain't no, I'm going into year 6. It ain't no like I'm just gonna take it back. Nah, that ain't that. Like, if anything, I'm gonna push myself so that I can push him to be closer to what he capable of being, and him being exactly who he needs to be for himself, and his capabilities to be his expectations. That's enough to push me to say like I gotta go harder. Like I have
Yeah.
to. Like I can't just fold and just after all the work that I put up into my life just to say it's competition now, just fold. Nah, that ain't even how I'm built. So like it's great competition, and like you said, like it's a push and a pull at the same time. Like it's not one of them things where like it's me versus Jahmyr and like I have to be way better than him. No, it's like he pushing me, I'm pushing him. Like I want him to be better. I want him to like reach his full potential. And with him reaching his full potential, he gonna help me be better as a human. So like if I don't have him here pushing me the way that he pushed me, then I may not even scratch the surface of the possibilities of what I can be.
Yeah.
Like if Jahmyr wasn't here last year, who knows if I would have did exactly what I did. You know, so
I was going to kind of lead off that too, because like you see, I'm not sure how close you still follow Iowa State, but last year, you know, when Rocco was, you know, in the quarterback battle, him and JJ Cole, like they're really pushing each other, and you know, you see them celebrating each other's wins, and at the end of the day, you know, if everyone's doing well, the team's doing well, like that's the ultimate goal. And you know, with Jahmyr, you guys do have a little bit different styles, but also if you're the only running back there, you're gonna be toting the rock, you know, how many times a game. With him there, he can kind of spell you a little bit and give you a breather to hopefully, you know, lengthen out your career a little bit.
right. Yeah, that's definitely what it's about. Like being able to get the most out of it. And you know, when you're young, you think like I gotta be in every play. I gotta like get every ball. Like this is just how I'm wired. Like for me to be able to extend my career. But when you get older, bro, I'm like, I'm 27, but I get up a little bit. I'm like, I'm feeling this a little bit more. Like, let me get a little bit extra therapy, or let me get a little extra. So, like, putting it in the perspective of like finding that happy medium of like helping the team the best way that you can, but also like preserving your body so that you can play as long as you can. Like, being able to find that happy medium, like just being in the middle, is like what's important.
That's what's crazy to me about Derrick Henry's career is that he's a big dude.
He's 255, right?
Yeah, but he carries the ball how many times a year? And just his running style is just, he's going to run you. I mean, he can run past you. He's a fast dude, but he's going to run you over too. It's crazy the type of career he's had.
Yeah,
but
he's a rarity.
Yeah, he's a. I saw him playing.
That's one way to put it.
I saw him playing college, and I was like, it doesn't look like this dude's running fast. But he's
taking
so
3
smooth.
steps every like 12 yards.
He's so smooth.
Yeah, bro,
So David, you were with the Bears to start your career. Now with the Lions, you've played around a bunch of different guys. Kind of putting you on the spot here, but if there were 1 or 2 guys you could think of that were like the most interesting guys you've played with, who would you say they are and why? Because I feel like you're a pretty eclectic guy, and I feel like you have fun while you're out there, and I see you celebrating with Amon-Ra and Jameer and everyone else too, and you guys look like you're having fun. So I have to imagine off the field that some of these guys are pretty fun as well.
Yeah. So the first one I have to say, his name is Thomas Ives. We were rookies, came in together with the Bears. He was undrafted. He went to Colgate. Real like low key guy, but worked his tail off. And he like one of my best friends to this day. Like he had like one of the biggest and the best impacts over my life just because of how he seen me, and also like him being in his position. Like we moved in together when I was a rookie. Like we were living together. So being able to have that experience with him and understand like it's different perspectives on the game, like and being able to have some gratitude with like the positioning that I was at. Like, cause sometimes like I would find myself being selfish for what I didn't have and like what I wanted, and didn't really take in like thought or like perspective on what he was going through, because I was complaining about not getting the ball, and he was really going through like whether he was gonna make the team or not, like having a job. So for me, like it definitely created like some gratitude for me, like stop complaining, like just work, like shut up and work, like stop crying, like go to work, like stop being a baby because of what you don't have. If you don't have it, go get it. Like, and having him like was super important to my life and to my career. So if he hear this, Thomas Eyes, I love you, bro, and I appreciate you. Another guy, Tariq Cohen, the most like energetic, contagious football player I've ever been around. Like you say, you can tell me, like, if you tell me it's one guy that I've met that can bring and rally a whole team together just by like their energy and who they are, is Tariq Cohen. Like Tariq loved the game, and he was the definition of having fun with the game. Like no coach, nobody can stop him from having fun from the game. Like, so those 2 guys like were definitely like large specs in my career that like whenever I'm done and I retire and I tell my story, like they're gonna be a part of my story. So yeah, those definitely like the top 2 guys I'd say that I've had interactions with and I've met that have helped me see it that way.
Yeah,
that's not surprising at all, Tariq. I feel like at his size, you have to like have something like an extra edge or something, and so the fact that he just, I don't know, he seems like a guy that just loves life. So
yeah, I got another question about teammates. How much shit talk goes on between you and Campbell and Laporta? Because there's got to be a deep, especially Jack Campbell, right? Because you're a linebacker, running back, like you are going nose to nose, especially the first or second week of September. Like, tell me, there's at least some decent, good old fashioned shit talking going on in the NFL locker room.
Crazy thing is, we don't talk shit at all.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that team out east, like they don't talk, like, and I don't talk either. Like I'm a quiet dude when I'm there, and they the same way. Like you might hear like Jack when Iowa State play Iowa, you might hear him like before the game, the week before, you might hear him say, you won't hear Jack say nothing at all, but he might say this like, "Hey Demo, we got y'all boys this week. How you feeling?" And I'm kind of like flapping my gums, and he'll laugh after. And I'm like, out of all of this time, he decided to say that at this time. Those were the choice of words that he decided to say. And I'm like, all right, Jack's kind of got a little asshole in him. I like it. But Laporta, like, he's like, good luck, bro. Like, Laporta's like this big goofy, like he's a goofy kid,
Yeah, I feel like all tight ends are.
Yeah, just a goofy dude. So he ain't really talking much cash.
All right.
I hope it's okay I ask you this question, David. When you scored in college, and I've seen you do it in the NFL as well too. You gave up the peace sign or the V. Where does that come from?
So when I was younger, my brother had a best friend. His name was Vince Turnage, and he was basically his brother. No, it was like a group of them. It was 5 of them, but my brother was like the 6th man kind of deal. But he ran track. He was like the role model of my school. Like he went to Akron University, super fast. Like I think when we were in high school, but he was a 200, 400 meter runner. But in a 100 meter, I think he ran like a 10.6 or 10.5.
Damn.
Something crazy. But he got murdered when I was in high school, and for me, it was just a tough time. But when it happened and how it happened and like the effect that it had over my team, my school, and the community, like it was major because everybody looked at Vince like that superhero kind of deal, like the one who made it out, and for his life to get taken away in a way that it did, like it was unfortunate. So like I felt like it was my job and my right to honor him every chance that I got. So every time I score, I threw the V's up to let him know, like, I appreciate him and let him know, like, his life and who he is still lives through me.
You're a damn good dude, David.
Man, it's. I was gonna ask a silly question after that, but I don't even think you can merit a silly question after that. That's it. You know what? Skyline chili, overrated, or is it a thing that locals go to? I mean, not to pull it, but I can't say silly question. Overrated, underrated, or appropriate?
Can you tell me what Skyline chili is? I'm not aware. I know it's a Cincinnati thing, but I'm not aware of what it is.
So us Cincinnati people, we have this chili, right? It's it's a chili, a hot dog, and some bread, and this like monsoon of cheese on this. We call them conies, right?
Okay.
And it's a competition between Gold Star and Skyline chili. They taste completely different. But anybody who really knows, like everybody knows that Skyline's way better than Gold Star. But yeah, like it's definitely like a Cincinnati relish. Like you have to appreciate Gold Star and Skyline chili. You have to be there to understand like how important it is.
That sounds pretty good.
All right, I'm down for any type of chili.
Yeah.
It's better than the corn and Ames.
Yeah. Hey, sweet corn right now is pretty good. It's around July 4th.
What about Superdog?
So I don't think Superdog was around when he was there. I think Superdog died.
Oh yeah, David, you never had Superdog?
No, I never had Superdog.
Superdog died before he got there.
Yeah, Superdog was on well.
Yeah, Superdog, you're
It's
old.
back though. It's back now.
Superdog's back.
Yep.
That's also not really
confirmed
David's
by
scene,
Aiden.
though.
Yeah, I don't think he's going out at 2 a.m. on a Saturday getting a Superdog.
And that's why David won all
And
games.
that's why he.
That's why he's in the NFL. That's why we did not win many games when I was there. So,
Hey, well, appreciate being on with us. I mean, it's been good. I mean, again, if you have a kid, if you're trying to get an idea on what it takes to work hard and understand, it's not just show up, I'm going to work hard and just good things happen. It's being attentive and being intentional with your work. Have that kid listen to this and then just cut out the last 3 minutes of it talking about Skyline.
I think that's important. The last 3 minutes, they got to know that. Just in case they go to Cincinnati, they have to know that.
we appreciate your time, David, and I mean it sincerely that you're a really good dude. I told Jeff before he came in here, I was like, David is the kind of guy that if I had a daughter, I'd want her to marry him. So,
oh man, you ain't even got to say all that.
You keep being you, man, and you represent Iowa State well. You represent yourself well. You represent the Lions well as well. So,
I appreciate you guys for having me. I thank you guys, and whenever you guys need me back, just let me know.
Hey,
we appreciate that.
All right, man.
Hey, have a good one. Go get yourself a ring this year, would you?
Yeah, we'll do.
Boy, what a lovely human.
I meant every word. I mean, if I have a daughter and she could find a man like him to marry, doesn't need to be like as successful, make as much money as him, but just him as a human. Incredible man.
I mean, I do have a daughter. She's a little young for him. About 27 years is too young.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is fun. It is interesting. We started off, and I don't think he really likes to heap praise on himself at all. He's very like, this is the matter of fact truth. But I think just I don't think there's anyone that's more responsible for Iowa State's success now than David Montgomery, because of, he mentioned it in the interview that he wanted to come work because that's just what he wanted, to be the best version of himself. He wanted to, prove that he could do it. He wanted to, excel. And he was also a little homesick. So the thing he wanted to do is work through it. And then other guys came along with him. Well, then those other guys, when David left, were the motivation for other guys. And then when those guys left, they became the motivation for other guys. And now that's just the culture. That is just the thing. And so it's one of those, there's Big Sean songs, one man can change the world. Like that little ripple of one person being who they are kind of extends and improves everything else around them. So I don't know. It's motivating to me to just be a better person generally. So you get, the gratitude of Coach Rhodes, the enthusiasm of Coach Mack, kind of the fun of guys like Charlie and the don't give a shit level of steel. And now this kind of how to work like from David Montgomery. You just kind of steal a whole bunch of stuff from a lot of the interviews this summer. This has been a blast, and this was no exception.
Yeah, this was a really good one. Really glad we got him on too. Feel bad for the guy who's coming on next week, but will be a good guest nonetheless. But yeah, like you've said multiple times, he a lot of good lessons to take from there, and I'm really glad that the success hasn't changed. I don't know David personally, but I feel like it hasn't changed him from who he was back as a high schooler in Cincinnati. That he still has a chip on his shoulder. He still comes, has his hard hat and goes to work and works hard. But like you mentioned, he is what the 5-star culture was and is today. So without him, Iowa State football would definitely not be where they are today. So
we got another guy who might be. I mean, if there's anybody who's solely responsible, it might be David Montgomery, but there's a close second coming in next week, and it'll be an in-person interview. I think the first time for this entire summer series, we get an in-person interview, but next week's gonna be fun too.
Wrong. Darius Reynolds.
Oh, we had Money. I forgot about Money. What a sweet human he is. Anyway,
I'm gonna tell me you forgot about him.
No, I mean, I forgot that it was during the summer. I thought it was so long ago.
Dick. Thank you to all of our
Last name
loyal
is Woody.
listeners who
Last
are
name is Woody.
Thank you to all of our loyal listeners who are still listening. And as always, remember, adopt, don't shop, and happy birthday to me.
Hey!